Ready. You're live. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Tonight is the regularly scheduled Finance Committee meeting, June 16th, 2025, and it is 6:03. We are in attendance tonight. Members of the Finance Committee are Councillor Beck, Councillor Dean, Councillor Fournier, and Councillor Tremble. We are also accompanied tonight with Councillor Leonard and Councillor Mallor and Chair Councillor Pelletier. And we have the Assistant City Manager at the table tonight, Courtney O'Donnell, and our new manager tonight, Carolyn Lear. And first on the agenda tonight, we have a bid update for an electric vehicle.
Yes. Thank you. This first item was actually originally awarded back in May. Unfortunately, the approved bidder for this vehicle has proven unresponsive. And so at this point, we would actually like to go and re-award this bid to McGovern MHQ. We did reach back out to the bidders. And we got quotes from them. And our original selection, as you may remember, was based off of preferred mileage, range, charging time, and delivery time, as this vehicle will be used for staff to go to things like conferences, among other uses. And so based off of that information, staff is recommending to award the bid in the amount of $43,635 to McGovern MHQ.
Do we have any questions? Councillor Trumbull?
I've got a few questions. Okay, one, I'm just reading the narrative on this, and it says, if I'm reading it correctly, Darling's vehicle, I don't know, it's a different vehicle, but it's like under 35,000.
Yes, that is correct.
So what's it, why are we recommending this other company? Where is McGovern MHQ? Where are they located? There's no bid sheet.
Yeah, I think McGovern is located in Massachusetts, and the reason why we are recommending that vehicle over the Darlings of that 34,000 that you mentioned is because the longevity, the charging is faster, and the how many miles it can go is longer for the 43,000. And at the table is planner Anya Collette, who has worked.
And what department is this? The city? Is this a carpool? Is this a motor pool?
Yeah, it would be available at fleet maintenance for staff to basically check out for various city business purposes.
Councillor Mallor?
Well, I need clarification on it. It refers to the fact that one of them is you're judging it by fast charging, and the other one, it doesn't say. It says 45 minutes, so I assume that's not fast charging. Are they, it looks like we're dealing with apples and oranges on this.
No, so the fast charging is charging up to 80% in 18 minutes. That would be the Hyundai. The 45 minutes was for the Kia. So that's quite a bit slower than the 18 minutes.
Is that fast charging also? Because it doesn't say that here.
Technically, it's considered fast charging. Yeah.
But it looks like there are two different ways of calculations.
Fast charging is the common way of saying level 3 charging. So level 3 is the fastest you can go for an EV. So for the Kia, it's up to 80% of the battery within 45 minutes. And for the Hyundai, it's up to 80% in 18 minutes. So.
Seems strange to me, but that's fine. I just thought it was the way it's worded here. It looks like you're dealing with apples and oranges. So, and because of the price difference, I preferred the other one.
Any other questions? Councillor Trumbull?
Just about what's our policy? If I'm a city staff person, I'm going to a conference in Portland. Can I take my car and get reimbursed, or do I have to sign over a vehicle from the city? What's it?
You could, it's preferred that you use the city vehicle for that, but yeah, sometimes they're not available, and so staff do take their own vehicles in which they are reimbursed the IRS rate for mileage. I think when we were evaluating this vehicle, it was the difference between if somebody is going to Portland, you wouldn't be able to do it on a single charge. So staff would be waiting longer for the other vehicle for it to charge in order to return. So it's just a balancing act of staff time and the distance, that it can go over the life of the vehicle. And so that's how we reached the recommendation that we did, but certainly if the committee felt otherwise, it could be awarded to Darlings.
Any other discussion? Council Trimble?
Well, initially, I mean, I would say that makes sense, except the difference is 253 miles for the Kia, 316 for the Hyundai. I mean, 253 miles is gonna get you to New Hampshire, almost to Boston, will get you almost to Boston. So, I don't know, I'm, for a local company that has the other one, difference of $12,000, I'm okay with the other one.
So, I'd like to,
Unless there's some compelling reason I'm missing.
just as an EV driver myself, I can say that it can cause, well, there's the significant range anxiety of when you get down to a very low mileage. It's like when your gas tank gets very low, like you're like, I should go to the gas station. But also cold weather will reduce that down even further. And then also you aren't really supposed to let it get below, I can't remember the exact percentage, but like it's 10 to 20%. You're usually supposed to charge the battery. So that is one factor to consider.
Any other questions? Council Beck?
I would say what sells it for me is the different charging. I wouldn't want a staff member, if they got stuck somewhere having to wait 45 minutes when they can be, charging up and going in, less than 20. So just for even from a safety standpoint, the recommendation makes sense.
So, should we take, it sounds like we might have, maybe someone opposed to it. Should we do a roll call?
You want a
Or are
motion?
we gonna have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Okay,
Second.
do a roll call.
Definitely.
Okay, Councilor Beck,
Yes.
Councilor Dean,
Yes.
Councilor Fournier,
Yes.
Councilor Tremble,
No,
and myself, Councilor Fish, I would say yes. Motion passes. And we will recommend, what staff has recommended for the bid to be, given to McGovern MHG for $43,645. And item number 2, we have a number of purchases.
Yes, first, under bids and purchasing is the Airport Dock 12 parking lot drainage. This I believe our engineering department has been working with airport staff to develop a plan to address stormwater concerns at Dock 12. We did issue a bid for this, and it's 7 bids were received between $26,680 and $37,936. The low bid was received from LZT Services LLC from Brewer in the amount of $26,680. We have a good working relationship with them. They are the low bidder, and so we recommend that they be awarded this bid.
Okay. Any questions? Do I have a motion?
move approval.
Second.
Okay.
Good question, do you,
Okay,
question,
Councilor-
are they the ones that just got the fire station bid on the drain at the fire station, you know?
I don't believe so, but I'll be honest. No,
No,
they're not.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, second up, Tank Farm Van.
Sorry, there's no objection to that, right? Just for my minutes. Okay, all right, thank you. Yes. The next one is Tank Farm Van. This is for the airport. They did go out to bid for this and they ranged between $66,850 and $70,499. O'Connor Auto Park from Augusta was the low bidder. We do have the budgeted funds for this, and so we recommend that it be awarded to the low bidder, O'Connor Auto Park.
Do we have any questions? Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to go with staff recommendation for the low bidder.
Okay.
Second, and a quick question,
Okay.
just why on the bid tab it says rebid, you know why that's rebid?
That I do not know. Perhaps the airport director can, or oh, Mike Moran, the fleet services director can answer that. It's coming to the table.
It was a rebid because we had only one bid. We bid it out once. Only one bid came in and it never met the spec that we had. So we put it out for rebid to make sure we got the proper spec, and then we had more people that bid on it.
Okay, that's like a one-ton van.
So,
That's like is that a one-ton van or? what's it
yes,
doing?
yes, it is, and it's where they can actually stand up in it.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay. And, do we have a motion
Oh, I think you have a motion and a
and a
second on the
second?
table.
Sue, do you have any objection? Okay, we'll go with staff recommendation.
Thank you. All right, next up is the cross insurance retaining wall. This was put out to bid in May. They were opened earlier this month. 8 bids were received ranging from 57,540 up to 106,580. The low bid was from Hughes Brothers of Hamden. And we do have a good working relationship with them, and engineering department recommends that it be awarded to the low bidder.
Okay, any questions?
Move approval?
Second,
Okay, we have approval for taking step recommendation for Cross Insurance Center to give the bid to Hughes Brothers for 57,540. Asphalt and cold patch.
Yes, so, this is, I had to actually double check myself on this because, it used to be that cold patch was always cold, but it turns out that we do hot, cold patch now. Depending on what's needed. And so we did put out a bid for this for the next 3 years. We got 2 bids back that ranged from 450,500 up to 489,500. And this is, just to be clear, the amount is up to a certain amount, and it's actually Public Works, Water Quality, and Airport can also use the materials from this, and they would pay as needed from this contract, but it does lock in the price. And so we recommend that this go to Sargent Corporation in the amount of 450,500, which is the low bidder.
Any questions?
Move staff recommendation?
Second,
Thank you. Any objections? Oh, looks like we are going to give the bid to Sargent Corporation for the asphalt and cold patch.
Up next is rock salt. So you may remember, we did go out to bid for this in 2024. We on average use between 8 and 10,000 tons of this every winter. At that time, the bid went out. It was actually, we tagged on to a bid with the city of Brewer, and 4 bids were received at that time. The New England Salt Company was the low bidder at that time, and they have offered to hold their price for another year. And so we are requesting that that the bid process be waived for this in order to lock in that lower amount of $66.45 a ton. Because we expect that if we were to go out to bid, that they would come in a lot higher, as the state of Maine just went out to bid for this, and the lowest bid that they received was $70 per ton. And so we feel confident that this will lock in a lower rate than if we went out to bid. And so that's why we are requesting that the bid process be waived and that we be allowed to enter into a 1-year extension with New England Salt Company.
Okay, any questions?
Move staff recommendation?
second,
Okay, we will waive bid process, take staff recommendation, go with New England Salt Company. And another waive bid request.
Yeah, so the next one is sort of a similar situation in that it was put out to bid in 2024. Those bids range from 1,518,119 up to 1,977,434. At the time, you may remember that B&B Paving had actually offered to hold their price for 2 years, and so it was awarded for a 2-year contract. They've come back to us and have offered to hold that for 1 more year. And so while we could put this out to bid, I don't have as good of a direct comparison as the state of Maine's for the salt rock. The salt bid. We do feel confident that, by locking in this price, it is likely, a lower amount than if we did go out to bid, but it's certainly up to the committee.
Okay. Any questions? Council Mallow?
Isn't it common practice that if you, like in this case, we're changing, we're asking for an extension another year, wouldn't it be normal practice to call the other bidders in the original bid to see what their amount would have been?
No, if the council does not wish to do 1 more year, we would put it back out.
So it's my understanding that this year is the second year of what we approved last year for the 2-year freeze, correct?
Yes.
So it's not like an extension. This is the second year. of what we
Oh,
approved.
No, I know.
Nope.
But
No,
this is the
This
third
is
year.
the third.
We originally went out to bid, it came back and we were at that time only asking for a 1-year contract. They said that they would hold their price for 2, so at that time that was approved. And so now we've gone through the second year, they're offering to hold that for 1 more year. And so the question is, do we want to lock in that price for 1 additional year, or go back out to bid and roll the dice?
And move staff
Have him move.
recommendation.
Second.
Okay, we will accept staff's recommendation and waive the bid for, to, B&B paving. And we have yet another.
Yes. This last one, is related to the steel rigging grid, at the CIC. I'm just gonna give a high level review and then, yeah, okay. Members from the CIC may be here to kind of fill in the gaps. So actually, I'm gonna ask Chris McGrail to come up to the table. I'm not even gonna try. He chatted this through with the former city manager before she left. So go ahead.
Chris, GM of the Cross Center. So basically, we have a design in our grid that would have allowed for a future center hung scoreboard. At this point, we are not looking to have a center hung scoreboard. We certainly don't need to spend countless dollars on something like that. So over the past few years, we've kind of looked at filling in the grid to allow us to have a stage at any location on the arena floor. So we have small house setup, 1,500 or so capacity, up to full end stage, which could be around 7,000. What we don't have is a half house. So we either go 4,500 down to 1,500. So we don't have that middle of the road, which is really important for us. It allows us to be a little bit more flexible when it comes to stage placement, and above, within that hole, we can rig in it, but not effectively. We have to use a lot of what's referred to as bridles. We certainly couldn't put a stage in the center of the floor, like a theatrical show where they might have 40, 50 motor points. It's just not feasible for us. So it really restricts our ability to locate the stage where we need to for some of these shows. So the request here is to waive the bid process. In 2022, we did reach out to Chimbro. We reached out to another company and we received estimates so we could work with the city manager on capital funding requests. We've since reached back out to both of those entities and there has been no response. But in conversations with former city manager, we reached out to Penobscot General Contracting, John DeSantis, who is co-president of Penobscot General Contractors and was the one of the main project manager of the Cross Insurance Center in 2013. And most of his crew that works with him now worked with Chimbro as well. And really took an opportunity to get an estimate from him. What we found is that it's almost 50% less than what, or, yeah, 68,000 versus 121 to 122,000, which is what we received in 2022. A day or two worth of work and really puts us in a better position overall from an event standpoint on the image law.
Thank you. Any questions? Councilor Dean?
Would this open up any new business for this coming year if it was to be completed, or do you think it's something more in the future?
Yeah, I mean, so our event schedule, we're constantly announcing shows, so we could get lucky and get something in the spring. It would certainly be a benefit to this. What we see is a show that doesn't sell as well as we thought it would, but still sells well, right? And this would allow us to slide that stage up, cut down so the venue doesn't look empty. But it would certainly benefit us from the shows that we've already announced. Right now, we put the stage on one side of the hole and we have to try to figure out how to rig within that hole when it comes to lighting truss, any sort of front house that's really taking place there. So yes and no. Right now, we don't have anything that wants to drop with their stage in the middle of that floor, but that doesn't mean that it wouldn't happen. Leaving here, I might get an email, right? That's always the hope.
Councilor Beck?
Does the Cross Insurance Center or the city have any experience with this particular contractor, or have we gotten any kind of feedback from other places that makes it confident in their work?
So we've never worked directly with Penobscot General Contractors. I know the former city manager has had John DeSantis involved in several projects. What I do know is that he was involved with the original building, the steel workers that will be essentially hanging the steel were the original company that hung all the grid. Actually going up on the grid with them, when we did a little walkthrough, it was like them riding a bike. They were talking about why they did certain things a certain way. And that's really the important thing from our standpoint is it's 52 feet in the air and there's people underneath it. So making sure we get the right person, whoever that might be, is obviously front and center and what we're most concerned with.
Okay, Councilor Fornia?
I used to bank Penobscot General Contractors in my former life. Known John DeSantis for over 10 years. He did the last major renovation at the hospital. He did the new Bangor Savings Bank as project manager as well as Cross Center, and he was instrumental with the Hollywood spots moving. So he knows his stuff.
That's a good deal.
Good. Any other questions? So the bid would actually go to Penobscot General or actually to steel rigging grid?
No, that's the name of the project, not the name of the contract.
Okay, so the bid wave is to go to Penobscot for the rigging. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Okay. So we will accept suggested waiver.
Thank you.
Thank you. He explained that much better than I would have.
Okay, lastly. We have,
Almost.
we have one more.
Yeah.
Authorizing transfer of $350,000 to Mary Snow Masonry Restoration.
Yes, so I do know that the superintendent and business manager here, but I'm gonna give this a shot. In your packets was an order authorizing the transfer of those funds from the Mary Snow Masonry Restoration Project to other school construction projects. My understanding is they did not need it for the Mary Snow Masonry Restoration, and so they would like to be able to use those funds for other projects such as air quality and roofing projects at Bangor High, Vine Street, Cohen, etc. And so otherwise these funds would go into the school fund balance. So that's why they're asking that they'd be allowed to transfer that for the other projects.
Do we have any questions?
I was just gonna move to authorize the
Oh.
transfer.
Second.
I have a question.
Okay, Council Mel?
The 350 that wasn't used.
Mhm.
And you're gonna use it for other projects, are those projects budgeted in the budget? Or is this a new project above and beyond the budgeted amount?
Yes, please.
I know I get to sit by. So those who've been on the committees for a number of years, the school's been quite aggressive in doing major capital projects, and this would go towards a project that the city council has already approved and has actually been completed with the blessing of the city of Bangor, and we were funding that through bonding through the city. So what we're hoping to do is to reallocate the 350,000 that we did not need for Mary Snow Masonry project to one of those others, reducing the amount that will have to be sold, and obviously reducing interest over a number of years. So it wouldn't be for a new project, wouldn't be for one that was already completed, that you've already approved.
It would be in the budget. You would have budgeted the project, you're just switching monies.
The
No new projects.
no new projects.
Okay, how would this affect the tax rate if we reduce the total amount of the contribution to the school department by the amount that you didn't use?
It depends on the interest rate of the bond. I'm not sure of the current market for municipal bonds to be sold. But it's in, 350,000 times, say, 5% per year for 10 or 20 years, whatever the bond length is. So we're hoping to use it to reduce that amount before it's even sold. So we obviously have anticipated everything being sold, and in our debt service that has been presented as part of our budget is the amount to cover all bonding. So this would be I guess a little bit less. So I could what we're doing currently is until everything is sold, we're because we have anticipated it, we're actually transferring money to the city to pay off some of through our budget process, some of the bonding projects before they're sold, so we can again reduce the interest going forward. So that's what we did last year. We you folks allowed us to transfer $700,000 a couple of months ago, I believe. And we used it to apply against 3 different projects that was on that list, and this is the same thing that will happen with 350,000.
So you don't know how it would affect the tax rate?
I don't. It would be the interest on 350,000. I don't have an ad machine. I need my ad machine. I apologize.
Any other questions? Do I have a motion?
You have one on the table?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And I'll just take a stab at it, but it'd be the principal interest, right, Gary? So maybe a little over, if it's 20 years, maybe a little over $20,000 a year. Not much, maybe
Yeah.
21.
So since we've anticipated it, we would immediately reinvest the savings
Right.
that we're not needing
Yeah.
into another project that's on the books.
Okay,
with
so
the
it'd still
city.
be the same.
So you funded things from the Vine Street indoor air quality, the
Right.
Bangor roof, several, probably half dozen projects.
Are those usually 20-year bonds, most of the bonds you get?
Usually 10, I believe.
Oh,
Thank you.
But it's really at the discretion of the city, how long the bond would be.
Do you need anything else from us on that?
Sounds like there's no objection,
No objections?
so, yep.
Okay,
I'll move forward.
can I have a motion to go into executive session?
Make a motion that we go into executive session MRSA 4056C,
Second,
disposition of real property.
Counselor Beck,
Yes.
Counselor Dean,
Yes.
Counselor Fournier,
Yes.
Counselor Turnbull,
yes.
myself would be a yes.
All right,
I'll make a motion that, we, move ahead with staff recommendation.
Second,
Okay, so we have a motion and we take a vote. For the disposition of real property, Counselor Beck,
yes.
Counselor Dean.
Yes.
Counselor Fournier,
Yes.
Counselor Trimble.
Yes.
And myself would be a yes. And I believe that concludes our meeting. We are adjourned.